was watching a YouTube channel, and the channel's called Life in Numbers, and the host is a woman named Simone. And Simone was having an emotional day because one of her friends got an email stating that she was supposed to go into a meeting at 12:30. Meanwhile, Simone got a meeting notification that she was supposed to go in at noon. And based on her experience with the company, she kind of knew that people that get invited to that earlier meeting, it doesn't always go well for them, if you know what I mean. The title of her video, I didn't write it down exactly, but it was something akin to how I lost a six-figure job in tech. And so on the video, it shows her, and she's called into a one-on-one meeting, right? And unlike other videos on TikTok where all of a sudden they start berating the person that's basically just the messenger, you know, to let them know they've been laid off. And unlike other TikTok videos where, you know, the person would kind of start to berate them and basically just try to embarrass the company while, you know, going viral in the process, Simone was the absolute picture of integrity, high moral standing. And Simone, I know you'll never ever listen to this video, but just know that I thought it was the most impressive way ever for a person to handle such devastating news. The company basically told her that, hey, Simone, yes, you do work remote, but you working remote had absolutely nothing to do with this decision. This was not based on your performance at all. And I really got the vibe just by listening to the video that the company was being honest with her. She just said flat out, Simone, the company is planning on downsizing and they want less and less to do with tech. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true. I imagine that AI probably has a little bit to do with that, right? But either way, I just felt that the messenger and Simone were very decent with one another. Sometimes you see these videos and it's all just about kind of trashing the company for the way they do things. Nobody likes when a company lays you off. They offered to, now the video is 4 days old. So I don't know if she uploaded it relatively quickly or if it was a week or so behind, but they told her that they were going to pay her through February 2nd, which is obviously, well, February 2nd's already passed, so it must be a rather older video that she just uploaded. But either way, it equated to her getting a small amount of pay, right, as severance, and then apparently she has a bonus that's coming that she was still able to collect on. So they weren't going to give her too much extra money, but at least she wasn't going to be left with zero money. Still, she was talking about how some of her friends in tech had been laid off for going on 9 months without being able to find a job. And while she does have a legitimate savings account, she said that based on her mortgage being $2,700 a month, which is kind of high if you ask me, so based on it being $2,700 a month, guys, get this, there's no way she can survive on her savings for 9 months, which makes sense. You know, do the math. If you have 10 months of $2,700 payments, you know, you've got to have $27,000 worth of money in your bank. I think a lot of times people that rent or maybe even have a room with their parents, I think a lot of times they don't have any idea how high these mortgages can be. $2,700 a month, that's not small by any means, at least not in my opinion. She was getting a little emotional during the video, and she was talking about how she's a daddy's girl and she feels worst case scenario that she probably can move back in with her folks. Now, I don't know how old Simone is, but I would imagine just by looking at her, she looks like she's probably, I'm guessing, in her 30s, right? And you know as well as I do, once you're away from your parents' house for X amount of time, it's not like you look forward to going back to your folks. But at the same time, it's kind of beautiful to know that she has a good enough relationship with her family where she can go there in a pinch if need be. That's why I think it's good when family members don't lose track of one another and don't shut each other out. You never know when you're going to have to, need your family in a pinch. And of course, I'd like to think that you're going to be there for your family as well. She's been trying to cope because I guess the tech field is really tough to get into right now. That was why she was mentioning that her friend had been laid off and out of work for 9 months. Guys, think about what 9 months is. That is just almost impossible for most people to go without a paycheck that long. That's why I stress to you guys, while the going is good and you have extra money coming in, even if you don't want to invest that, okay, save it. Put it into a CD, put it into your savings account. You have to find a way to get 6 to 12 months of your income saved up just in case something like this does happen. And although she did have her family on her side, she did make a point of saying, that she doesn't really have any friends that can help her. A lot of times, even if you do have 1,000,001 friends, it's not like your friends are necessarily going to be breaking your door down to help you by giving you money so that you can float for 6 to 12 months while you're looking for another job. Now, the good news about her YouTube channel is this particular video had like close to 500,000 views, and it looks like a lot of her other videos are popular too. So, say a little prayer for Simone, guys. Maybe, just maybe, she can start making enough money off of her YouTube channel, or maybe she doesn't need that job or even have to find another one. I'm not exactly sure what people get paid on YouTube for 25,000 subscribers, but it looked like darn near every one of her videos was pretty successful. Again, I'm looking at that from a not so successful point of view. She was saying that her job is kind of a double whammy, because not only is it tech related, but her position was 100% remote. There's kind of a dual-edged sword working home in a remote type fashion, because if you ever lose that job, there's a big piece of you that still doesn't want to ever go into an office. If you never work remote, you don't even really understand where people are coming from, because a lot of people that work at the office actually enjoy working at the office, even though they don't always claim they do. There's a lot of challenges with working from home, and I think bosses and companies are hip to the fact that while yes, you might be a successful at-home worker, about 85% of people that work from home probably, again, I'm not going officially, I'm just going to say probably aren't disciplined enough to do better at home than they would in an office setting. Apparently, she had a vacation plan for New Zealand, guys. And some people in her comment section were saying, hey, whatever you do, don't cancel your trip. You've earned that, go on your trip. But one of the things she mentioned on her videos was that she was going to be getting rid of some of her subscriptions, and that if she doesn't have a job, then more than likely she is going to cancel her trip. And I actually thought that that was a smart statement. Yes, I understand as her friend, you want her to go to New Zealand and still enjoy herself, and I'm not saying she doesn't deserve to, but sometimes you have to look at reality, and you have to say vacations are for people that are working hard and they need to take a trip to kind of get away from work from a while. When you're unemployed and your bills still exist, that's one of those times where you have to say, yes, I know you deserve and want and need a vacation, but you're not working from this point forward, as of right now at least. This is where you need to take a walk and strategize about the immediate near future. So what I would do if I were her is I would immediately cancel the unneeded subscriptions, cancel the Amazon Prime, cancel your vacation if you can. If you can't cancel it, then maybe I would consider keeping it at that point, right? Just when you go, don't go with the idea that you're going to spend a couple grand while you're there. Try to spend the least amount you can and just enjoy the fact that you're in New Zealand. Last but not least, Simone does say that if you believe in the Lord, if you would, please drop a prayer for her. And even if you don't believe in the Lord, if you would, wish her good luck. And I think that's really well said. A lot of times when people ask you for your prayers, A lot of non-believers say, God, that doesn't help somebody at all. But if you're a believer, you really do believe that there is some power in prayer. Now, does God answer my prayers? No, never, of course not. At Cozy Button 2 says, the same companies ask us for a 2-week notice when you quit, but can fire you suddenly in a day, ? They didn't give you time at all to maybe find another job and to process the change. I hate them. I'm so sorry this happened. Cozy Button, you must really love Simone to hate her employers. Usually people reserve hate for people that do them wrong, but what that tells me, Cozy Button, is that you've got some pretty strong empathy skills running through your veins. I love that, don't you guys? Golly, that's one thing I have with the venters, I can honestly say. There's a good handful or two of you guys that have been very loyal. You always understand when I'm going through a tough time. And I think that's just awesome to see that people feel that same way about Simone. Now let me give you a little commentary on Cozy Button's comment. I agree with you completely. We are supposed to give a 2-week notice. Normally with most companies, if you give them a 2-week notice, they usually immediately start cutting you off from your coworkers, right? So there all of a sudden you can't fire a message to them on Teams. All of a sudden your email doesn't work, and usually they let you go. Now that might seem kind of cold and harsh, but the reality is by you giving them that 2-week notice, they can never take that back from you and tell future employers that you just ditched out on them. So I still recommend you go the route that most people know is the correct way, which is giving your notice regardless of what the job does to you. Now on the flip side, the job usually, when they're ready to get rid of you, they usually put you on some sort of PIP, right? A performance improvement plan. And that is usually your 2, 3, 4-week notice to get yourself in gear or to start putting your resume out if you don't feel like you're going to be able to improve on your metrics. At the same time, just talking person to person, it does suck that you're expected to leave a notice and that they can kind of end their relationship with you at any time. With that being said, just because people flourish and succeed off of doing horrible things does not mean that we should copy them, right? Sometimes you just have to be a good person that your parents raised you to be, regardless of the results. Jasmine Rogers says, girl, don't listen to the people telling you to take the trip. You planned the trip based on your financial situation at the time. Now it's changed and you need to adjust accordingly. So Jasmine, I agree with you completely. That was what made me say that earlier, as I actually read her comment when I was writing it down on the card. And I think a lot of times people will tell you what you want to hear. Go on that vacation. Go on that date. Go buy yourself that car. Go buy yourself that dress. But the reality is, you're a different person than you were the day before, Simone. The day before, you were in a 6-figure tech job. That means every single week you're making $2,000 or more. Now, that's gone. And if that money is gone for the next 8-9 months, well, then why would anybody recommend you go on a vacation to New Zealand? If you can get your airfare back, if you can cancel your hotel stay in New Zealand, I say do it. Now, if that means that you have to do a staycation at home, well, you're already in a staycation. You just got laid off. So here's my first question for you, venters. There is no wrong answer. Would you recommend Simone just still go on vacation? Or would you recommend that she stay home? Or would you recommend that her just kind of ponder the pros and cons and come up with the best decision for her and her family? I am wearing my The Walk Must Go On shirt in UCLA colors of baby blue and bright sunshine yellow. And if you guys check out my store down below, you guys can get a The Walk Must Go On t-shirt as well. It's one of those shirts that if anybody asks you what it means, you'll literally be the only one in the country that knows what it means. But remember, It's a message that we get for ourselves, and it lets us know that if you really want to be healthy, the walk must go on. Haley Onella says, might not seem like it right now, but this might be a blessing in disguise. The world is too huge to be sitting ducks. I'm 38. I wish I'd broken free from the 60-hour work week earlier than I did. Living on my own terms is a game changer. Not feeling stuck in a routine that wasn't for me. I'm doing what makes me happy and fulfilled. Haley, that's wonderful. That truly is. If you were working in a job that was 60 hours a week plus, that would be very, very stressful. I don't think people realize how nice they have it when they have a 35 to 40-hour work week. There's a lot of people out there that in order for them to feed their family and pay their bills, they have to work 60 hours a week. And not all of them get paid overtime for that either. So again, if you're one of these people right now hearing my voice and you have to work 60, 70 hours a week, just know I appreciate you and I appreciate what you're going through. Whenever you have to work 10, 11, 12 hours a day, that means you're a trooper, you're a warrior. And it also means that you actually care a lot about your family. I see some guys, at least I have in my lifetime, that were working close to 80 hours a week. And every time they're on their phone, they're not playing video games, they're not chatting away, they're looking at pictures of their family, and they're talking with their wife about picking up stuff from the store. I mean, there are some guys out there, and women, that just, man, they are willing to work nonstop for their family, and I think they should be celebrated more. With that being said, if you're one of these people that can transition from 60 or 70 hours a week and find a job that's closer to 35 or 40 that pays the same, I hope that happens for all of you. Make that jump. That's something that you definitely deserve. By the way, in case you're wondering, if you add my YouTube along with my job, over the past 300 days or so, I have worked about 60 or 70 hours a week, probably closer to 80 to be honest with you. But man, you know what? You want to know what YouTube taught me? YouTube taught me that volunteering and doing something for yourself that you enjoy is always worth it. So if you've been contemplating doing a YouTube channel, my advice would be you can't do it for money, because there's a good chance that there's not going to be any money involved. But if you can share your love for something with others, then that's all the reward you need. I love walking so much. Whenever I'm feeling blue, and I'm just like anybody else, I have my ups and downs. My walk makes me feel so much better. Whenever I have a devastating circumstance, my walk gives me the ability to focus some time on those devastating circumstances and to strategize. And I think if you just start each day with a 20 or 30-minute walk before you even go to work, or maybe right when you get home before you go in and start eating, I just think it'll change your life for the better. So my prayers are that one of these days you'll get your shoes on and actually contemplate taking a walk. I know it can change your life. Star Child 3 says, I lost a 6-figure job, but gained my life back. It's a blessing in disguise. They used to say that if you made $72,000 a year, you were making the absolute perfect amount of money for happiness. Now that number is probably closer to 6 figures, but if what Star Child 3 says is true, that by losing her 6-figure job, she actually gained her life back and her happiness as well, then maybe that's something that you guys at home should contemplate. If you're married and you're in a relationship where you can afford to go from a 6-figure job to maybe something that pays a little less, and it equates to you having some sanity at the end of the day, then yeah, I agree, go for it. You might find, just like Star Child, that it just makes you feel better. Who wants the responsibility of all that comes with a 6-figure job if it truly makes you feel miserable, you know? Don't do that to yourself. Find a job that pays 70 grand or something. where you can actually enjoy life and just try to make some cuts and see if you can make it work. God, I see these girls every day on a scooter or a bike, and today they're on a skateboard.
I subscribe to you on YouTube.
Thank you. You too. Bye, guys. Faraz Ahmed says, you handled yourself so gracefully and maturely during that call. Faraz, I was so impressed with Simone as well. We live in a world where, especially over the computer, it would be so easy to say F you and F this company and I did so much for you and look how you're treating me. And don't get me wrong, if she would have said that, I'm sure some people would have said, good for you, Simone. But at the same time, she chose to do what her parents probably taught her to do. Hold yourself up to a certain esteem. Keep your head up high. Your job or you and your self-worth. Walk, talk, vent. Subscribe for me. You would think I'm famous in my neighborhood. So anyway, what she did, guys, and I hope you guys watch her video, it was just so impressive. Think about this. We have people nowadays that go viral because they get upset that somebody at McDonald's forgot to give them a ketchup packet in their Happy Meal. Which, by the way, McDonald's, if you guys keep forgetting to give me ketchup, I'm not gonna buy from you anymore. Isn't that a bummer? You get some McDonald's fries and you're like, hey, I've been eating well. I'm gonna have this little French fry here. Oh my goodness, they didn't give me any ketchup, darn it. But you know what I'm saying. Sometimes there's videos out there of people that are just absolutely trashing a McDonald's and going to jail and racking up felonies because they got a small soda instead of a large, because there was no ice in it, because the ketchup was missing. The absolute worst reasons in the world to get mad at anybody. And by the way, if you do get mad when they forget your ketchup, let me know down below. That is a bummer. Mucho Lang says, lost my job a while back. While I was still working, I pumped money into my mortgage. Got it paid off. Mortgage being my biggest expense. Being laid off didn't send me into a panic. Why didn't it send you into a panic? Because when the going was good, right, he saved up money and he got his bills paid off. That's why I'm telling you now, you might have the best job ever and you might start to hit your bills. Don't hit them willy-nilly by just paying an extra $10 a month. No, pay those SOBs off. Because if you can get all your bills paid and then start sending in an extra payment each year to your mortgage, you can pay a 30-year mortgage off 7.5 years early. So that means if you can start paying an extra mortgage payment every quarter, you can start paying that bad boy off in 15 or less years. And you know as well as I do, Venters, 15 years goes by like that. Pay extra to your bills, get ahead of the game. Invest in yourself by putting some money each week that you pay towards your savings account so that when bad things like this happen, you have a chance. It's no guarantee that life isn't gonna suck, but it gives you a chance. So why don't you and I both quit Amazon right now? Have a good day, I'll see you tomorrow.